Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM22 story, The Head Coach, with me, Daniel. It's part 100 today. We bring up the century in style. We've got a Champions League knockout game and a Manchester derby to look forward to. And if both go well, we can edge closer to the two big trophies. Now that's become increasingly more important given what's happened since you were last with me, but we've also got a youth intake to look forward to, so a real mixed bag in this one. If you're looking forward to it, please do chuck a thumbs up on the video, subscribe down below for daily FM22 content from two long-term stories. The link to our One Club story with Hemel Hempstead Town is up in the eye above, as well as the Twitch channel and the football podcast for regular content. You can also support the show as a channel member down below by clicking the join button if you wish. And breaking news, there's also now a Load FM store. You can find it in the eye above and a link in the description. There's a mix of products relating to our favourite series and catchphrases, and to celebrate the occasion for the next couple of weeks you can get 5% off all products on the store by using the code LOADFM5 at checkout. Thank you as always for the incredible support as we are back for two big games here. We've got Porto at home, a game where we should be through in the Champions League. We've got a good lead at the moment. And we've got Manchester City, which we were hoping was going to be a title decider. But despite us dropping a couple of points and having some silly games, City have fallen away yet again. And it actually happened. The 2 games after we were on camera last, they dropped points and drew both of them. So let's go and have a look at the schedule so we can see what's been happening. It has been chaos, really. Look at some of the results we've had along there. I can't quite explain it. So you were with me for Liverpool and Arsenal. We then beat West Ham 4-1 the week after. We were there by half-time. Inacio and Yakubu with 1. Kylian Mbappe got a brace. We also went into February with a 7-2 FA Cup win against Blackburn. I mean, I don't really know what happened here. We were comfortably ahead. We let in a couple of silly goals. But Marco Halloran, the youngster, he got his first for the club, as well as Casal, Louise, Thompson and a Marcus Rashford hat-trick. We then moved on with a comfortable 3-0 win against Leicester, Mbappe and Boya in the first 10 minutes before Yakubu early in the second half. A 7-1 win at home to Brighton, as we rotated the squad a bit. We had Pavati, Boya with a brace, Mbappe, Yakubu, Inacio and Russell Thompson with 1 each. A 4-0 win in the first leg of the Champions League game we complete today against Porto, an Mbappe hat-trick and a Yakubu goal had made it comfortable at half-time. In fact, they all came within a 10-minute period. A 4-2 win away at Norwich. We got a little bit fortunate here. We blew a 2-goal lead given to us by Yakubu, but Gaia scored on the stroke of half-time, and Kylian Mbappe in the second half made sure things were pretty comfortable in the end. Then came the disaster. Leicester at the start of March, FA Cup 5th round. We went down 1-0 in extra time. It was the 119th minute too. We are out of the FA Cup. We are out of both domestic cups early on. And now the Champions League and the Premier League become paramount. The Premier League, it's still the easiest to win, which is infuriating me every year. I'm not going to keep going on about it. But the Champions League, if we can get it this year, it would be a massive achievement. But I don't really think we're close because we keep dropping silly points. We then won 8-5 against Crystal Palace. Now, just to put this game into perspective, we were 3-0 up through O'Halloran, Thompson and Casal. They then got back 2 before half-time. We then went 6-2 up before conceding 2 more. Then we scored again. Then they scored again. It was just carnage. It was an absolutely bonkers game. But we did win, and it was good for us that some of the youngsters got in the team, scored goals. We had to rotate after playing 120 minutes in the Cup just 3 days earlier. And to be fair, the youngsters did us proud going forward and looked completely disjointed at the back. How some of the defenders got ratings above a 7, I'll never know, and Van der Voort made some absolutely awful errors at the back. We then won 5-1 away at Sunderland, Yakubu with 3, Zolis and Boyat with 1 apiece. But if you consider the fact that Jaloka hasn't been replaced at the end of the January window, I'm actually quite pleased with what we've managed to achieve. We've got a couple of youngsters leaving at the end of the season, there's no surprises there. We did have one more youngster come into the club after the last episode. Alberti came back from his loan spell, and young Andreas Spetzel, who had been on the bench once, went on loan to MK Dons. So, no replacement for Jaloka. In fact, no real first-team replacements for Voloshin or Jaloka. Erdogan obviously was replaced by Vandenberg. But we are weaker than we were at the start of the season, and as we push in the latter stages of the Champions League, I fear that's what's going to get us caught out. Let's have a quick look in the inbox though, because a couple of days ago, we had our youth intake delivered to us. Now, it's actually a bit of a weird intake. If you were in a long-term save, you wouldn't be that devastated by it, because there's no real superstars in this team, but there's loads of very solid players who are going to be professionals. So you can see it's been rated as an average intake. Almost every player has got 2.5-star potential or 2-star potential. And that means we're going to produce 10 or 12 senior professional footballers out of this intake, but none that are going to play for Manchester United. So depending on which way you look at it, it's either a great youth intake or it's a little bit of a disappointment. In a journeyman story, when we're not going to be here forever, not having a star probably doesn't suit us. But let's get through to the fixtures regardless, because this Porto game is a real chance for us to rest people. We've not had too many opportunities this year, and when we have, we've had crazy games like the Palace one. So against Porto, where we're 4-0 up on aggregate, I'm just going to play virtually a whole backup side. So let's go and pick our 11 and we'll see what team we've managed to scramble together. Right, and this is the squad we've gone for. Now, despite the fact that Van den Voort has been poor when he's come in, Fournier's injured at the moment, so he's going to have to play both games today. We've got a defence of Mickey Lovic, Vandenberg the fullbacks, Agumbi drops into centre-half alongside Bordenelli, Marco Halloran getting another start in midfield. He's starting to look really solid at the moment. And at 18 years of age, there's a lot more to come from him. Santiago Casal is alongside him with an attacking midfield trio of Russell Thompson, Emre Uzun and Magno Luiz. That means Sancho can't even get into our backup side now. He's really regressed this season. Marcus Rashford on his own up front. Bit more of a bit part player this year, to be honest. But on the bench, we've got strength in depth if we need it. We've got the two saviours at the bottom in case things go really wrong. So let's go and get into the first of today's two games. Should be a pretty comfortable one, but you never know with our Champions League record. Let's see if we can make something special happen. Well, as you saw briefly, 11 changes for us, just one for Porto. Starlis Solbakken is still in charge there. They've got Trevor Chalobah at the back. It's the usual thing, even though this league's loaded, so many ageing teams this year. João Mario, Vitinha, Coop Miners. There's so many players that you think, 12th season should be towards the end of their careers and certainly shouldn't be the core of a team. But let's go and get into the first half. We're going to prove a point and hopefully we can get a victory on the night, because for these lads, be a great confidence boost, particularly given their defensive record when they played earlier in the year. As early doors, we're back for a Porto throw-in, attacking position on the right-hand side. Wouldn't be an ideal start if we conceded in 2 minutes. Might just open up a bit of panic, as his Coop Miners to Dervas. Takes on his man, plays in De La Fuente. Good shot from João Mario just over. I'm a little worried at the rate we were carved open there. Well, 5 minutes to half time, and after that start, we've seen next to nothing. Not exciting for us, obviously. We've not looked like scoring, we've not created a lot. But it's kept us comfortable in the tie. It looks like Chelsea are putting Atletico Madrid out, which we would have expected. We beat them in the 16s last year. And Chelsea have got Jalocca now, who I'm sure will star for them. But for us, this has not been a great performance. But if we can rest the whole 11 and still get a result and get ourselves through comfortably without any panic whatsoever, then I think it's a good night. As Van den Voort makes a good save from Chalobah. First one he's been forced into of the match. And Vitinha will take the corner, outswinger to the back post, headed straight into his arms. Porto do look the more likely, but there's nothing to make us panic. Still 4-0 on aggregate and only 38 minutes to go. As Lovic finds O'Halloran, big ball over to Thompson. Can he create something special? Wins a sliding challenge to Rashford and is straight into Ordero for the save. It was a comfortable height, didn't have a huge amount of power on it, and I'm not even sure it was curling on target, to be honest. As Pelmar plays out from the back for Porto. Forced to his keeper again. Mazza into Coop Miners. They're trying to work it forward. They've got 3 pressed up against our back 4 here. Dervas has just skinned the centre-half with ease. It was a Gumby, who is naturally a midfielder, but still, you'd expect a bit more of a challenge than that. As Lovic's got a throw on the right. The game is waking up now. O'Halloran plays it to Emre. He goes back to a Gumby, into Casal. Emre again. Chance to switch, there's a man on both flanks. Bordenelli goes short to O'Halloran though. It's out to Magno Luiz. He finds Casal, who loses possession. Vitinha brings it away, but thankfully, we win it back. It's been a scrappy game. It's been pretty lethargic from us, to be honest. As Rashford holds up, finds Thompson. Got support from Magno Luiz, left side of the box. 4 in the middle if he can cross it. Emre Uzun's one of them. And he gets the goal. I'm not sure it is his first of the season, but it's a really well worked one. He scores the goal. And on the night, we now have an undeserved lead. Nearly an hour gone. We'll think about changes in a moment. Well, 65 minutes gone. We will make a couple of changes because on the bench we've got Sancho, who's not first team anyway. So I'm going to take Russell Thompson off, who's had a poor game and is more likely to be needed at the weekend. Rashford's another one I'm tempted by. I think I'll just chuck Zolis up front for 25 minutes. Hannibal I'm trying to rest as much as possible. I think maybe just as an insurance policy we'll bring Xavier Benjamin on. I'll put a Gumby in midfield and we'll drop the complacent Santiago Casal off. In fact, Emre's only got a 6.9 despite scoring and he's a lot older and a lot less fit. So let's put Casal number 10. We'll bring a Gumby into midfield and then Emre will be replaced by Xavier Benjamin. 25 minutes left, 1-0 on the night. It's been a comfortable night for us, despite Porto having a decent start. As here they are, 15 minutes to go, really pushing forward now. Surely not going to get 5 goals in this time, as Benjamin heads away to Magno Luiz. Charges down the left wing. Got time, got a couple closing him down, but not really with any intensity. He gets all the way to the byline, cuts it back to Casal. 2 in the middle, Gumby's one of them, shoots from distance. We don't see that often from Asher Gumby. A wonderful curling effort. It's right into the top corner. The keeper had no chance. And now we can celebrate a victory on the night. 2-0 here, 6-0 on aggregate. Chelsea battering Atletico as well. And the big question is who we're going to get in the quarter-final. Because that is going to shape whether we got a chance of reaching the end or not. As Benjamin chips the ball forward. Hoofed away by Porto. Think they've given up here. Bordenelli goes back to his keeper Van der Voort. Just 10 minutes left on the clock and we're content to keep possession. Here's Xavier Benjamin, up to O'Halloran. Support from Lovic, up towards Zolis. Not usually playing up front, but with Rashford aging and Mbappe out of contract in the summer, he might end up having to get used to it. So it's a long ball forward, which Bordenelli wins. It's back to Van den Voort again. I have literally no idea why we saw that, as it's thrown out to Van den Berg. Bordenelli. Can we create an attack from it? We've watched a minute of nonsense. It's got to lead to something. Zolis back to Casal. He finds Sancho. Magno Luiz. Sancho again. Must score. Does score. He might be ageing. He might be losing his physical quality. But he still knows how to make the movements. He still knows how to stay composed under pressure. And it's an absolutely fabulous result. Particularly given the fact we've rested 11 players. A dominant display in the second half. We wore them down with fresh legs. And after a 7-0 aggregate win, we've got to focus our attention to the Manchester derby. Probably 10 changes to be made for that one too. Well, one more big event before the Manchester derby. It is the Champions League quarter-final draw. As you can see, there's 5 English sides left. The others behind my head are Arsenal, Chelsea and Liverpool. Manchester City are still there, as are Bayern, who are absolute stars. PSG, who got past holders Milan on the way to the Stade de France final. And Barcelona. Bayern and PSG I know are better than us. Barcelona I'm not sure. So it's almost better we get one of the English sides here, based on our recent performances. So let's draw the teams out. Manchester City first. It is Liverpool for them. Next out is Chelsea. PSG are going to be their opponents. Philip Jalocca getting a go against those. Let's have a look at Arsenal. That might be us, because we're always away in the penultimate tie in these draws. There it is. 2 all-English ties, Arsenal v Manchester United, and that means Barcelona v Bayern. That is going to be huge and will feature in the next episode. If we do get past Arsenal in the semi-final though, let's have a look at who we'd face in the semis. Which side of the draw is it? Barca or Bayern? So even if we do get to the semi-finals, I'd imagine Bayern will probably stop us. So let's go and get through to the Manchester derby. The Premier League has just got even more important. Well, fitness test time ahead of the Saturday lunchtime kickoff. Cristiano Gaia is back, and that is absolutely crucial. Now, it might not look that important with 8 games to go. We're 11 points clear. City have bottled it again. But if we can win this and get ourselves 14 points clear with 7 to go, you can basically say we've won the title. And what that means in essence is that we can rest players either side of Champions League games and focus on getting to that competition final. And I know we're not as good as some of the other sides, but if they're still concentrating on their leagues, that might give us the edge. So let's go and get through the tactical meeting. We're going to change the team very heavily for midweek. We'll be back in a second to run through the 11. Well, here is our squad for today, and it's basically all rotation as you'd expect. I have chucked a keeper on the bench just in case, because we have had some injuries recently in goal. But the rest of the side after Van den Voort is Gaia and Pivati the fullbacks, Inacio and Benjamin centre-half, and Ponza and Hannibal in the middle, Yakubu, Boya and Zolis the attacking midfield three, and Kylian Mbappe up front. 10 changes, just the goalie keeps his place. Can we get the win that basically wraps up the title? Well, 2 changes for Manchester City. Still a few originals in their side as well. Ruben Diaz back in, Foden and Haaland into that side as well. Camavinga in there too. Jack Bremner's become a star for them in recent years. Kumbula we've seen centre-half loads. And the likes of Robble, who they signed for big money, has also been a key component of their side. They have got some big names on the bench. Tariq Lamptey still going there too. So let's go and get into the first half. Ask the lads to prove a point. And hope we can all but wrap up the title with a big Manchester derby win. Well, we're back just 5 seconds after kickoff, which is a little bit unusual, as Boya hits a big ball forward. Kumbula clears away to Foden, and he plays it into midfield. Robble off the right, up towards Haaland. Inacio intercepts for Hannibal. He finds Pivati. Down the wing to Zolis. Time and space to run into, but we're going short and backwards at the moment. Not really any pressure on the ball as Mbappe gets in. It's a brilliant ball from Zolis. It's been forced wide though. Back to Yakubu. What a start that is. 40 seconds on the clock. The lads have had a week's rest in this starting 11. And they've come out the traps like a house on fire. Absolutely super football. We contemplated the fact that they might be keeping it a bit too short and simple in the middle. They were just opening City up. Forced the overload. And then put a big ball through to Mbappe. As Inacio plays short to Pivati. 8 minutes on the clock. Been a really positive start here. Look at the speed. Look at the fitness. Just surging past people. City, you'd imagine, to get through in the Champions League, probably been playing stronger sides in the second leg. They've been playing strong in the league and just not been able to get the results. And maybe they're just having their usual dip in the second half of the year, as Foden goes back to Bremner, the left-back. Another name that we've come synonymous with over the years against us here, as Ruben Diaz. Into midfield, up to Robble. Through ball towards Ilunga. That's not particularly good defending. Foden's challenge though. It's a brilliant last-ditch one from Benjamin. Back to him again. Another last-ditch challenge from Xavier Benjamin. 2 brilliant interventions. And that keeps it 1-0. But City growing into it. 10 minutes gone. Here's Yakubu. Big switcher play to Zolis. He's getting in behind the fullback. But Mbappe's in the middle if he can find him. He can't. It's deflected behind off Ruben Diaz. Good defending from him on this occasion. As Mbappe will take the corner himself. I'm sure Yakubu will be the target. Up to the back post, he loses out. It's away as far as Selly and Boya. Just lets it run for a throw though. 25 on the clock as Kylian Mbappe picks the ball up on the right. Ball into Yakubu, headed away. Falls for Selly and Boya though, who goes from distance. And Keita forced into a smart save down to his left. Corner kick for United. Can we get that second goal just to make it safe? Inacio down, but nobody's there for the knockdown. It's cleared away by City. A bit desperate at the back. They have got the higher expected goals though, so perhaps we're fortunate to be ahead. As Robble gives the ball to Camavinga in the middle. Almost robbed in possession, but finds Erling Haaland. He's got support from Ilunga. He's just overhit and forces him wide. But Gaia does really well to slide in and win the challenge. Had to get that right in the penalty area. He plays out again to Amponza. Time in possession. Just play short to Benjamin. And this probably isn't a bad thing. Get your foot on the ball and have possession for a moment. Get City chasing it again. Pivati down the left to Zolis. Finds Hannibal. Into Inacio. And that's where we missed Jaloka. Just that midfield presence to keep possession. Make us composed on possession. As Mbappe gets in, it's a good save from Keita. It's going to be another corner kick. We've had a few chances here, but nothing particularly spectacular. And we're not really taking them either way, as it's headed away as far as Boya. We've not been big in the aerial threat today, though Boya's just skimmed 5 players. That is sensational. Back to Pivati, whose shot's blocked. Selly and Boya is coming to the party big time. Still 1-0. Another corner. Can we make one count? Mbappe, in-swinger to the back post. Kumbula wins it again. Selly and Boya on the right. Big ball up to Zolis, completely unmarked. Heads it into the arms of Keita. Probably had to do better than that. We're 10 to the break. We stay 1 ahead. But we really are growing into this. The set-piece threat is there. We're just not making it count. Zamponza plays a 1-2 with Gaia. We are definitely the better side at the moment. We've got to make it count and get the second. Inacio on halfway. Got a chance to go wide. Instead play short to Hannibal. And Ponza to Boya. Lovely turn. Through ball to Yakubu. It's absolutely brilliant. Gets to the byline. Back to Boya. And if anyone deserved a goal today, it was surely Selly and Boya. 2-0 with 4 to half time. and he has really made us tick going forward. What a fantastic player, what a great signing. Just a shame he hasn't got Jalocka there alongside him, as at half-time it is 2-0. The expected goal suggests it's been a much more even game, but we definitely were the stronger in the last 15 minutes there. But we all know how dangerous 2-0 is at half-time in FM, as City go straight from the kickoff. Gaia caught sleeping as Alunga gets in down the left-hand side. Gives it away to Boya though. He's back defending this time, gets down the right. Brilliant work from him, and Ponza over the top to Mbappe. Runs in completely unopposed. 3-0 United. That is absolutely superb. And with 5 minutes gone in the second half, it is surely game and title race over. As Gaia throws into Boya down by the corner flag. Cutting in from the right. Oh my words. Selly and Boya, that is superb. What a performance he has put in today. Who needs Jalocka when you've got Selly and Boya? He is running the show. 4-0 United. And this is why the Premier League's easier than the rest. Let's go and make a couple of changes in a moment. Just save some legs. So the first one coming off is going to be Emmanuel Yakubu. He's going to be replaced by Russell Thompson. Hannibal always plays 180 minutes for Tunisia. So a Gumby will get a run out for him. And I'm going to bring Vandenberg on. Maybe for Pavati. No, I'm going to bring him on for Mbappe. We'll put Zolis up front. Vandenberg on the left as a traditional winger. We'll go and get through the last 25 minutes. Hopefully resting some of the most important players and some of those that will play the most for their country. As Pavati throws into Boya. Still a quarter of the game to go. Can we keep the confidence and the free-flowing football up? Boya finds Amponza to Vandenberg. He cuts in from the left. Finds Zolis. It's good defending by Ruben Diaz. It could have been 5 there. Monsoy away downfield. It's a big hoof, but Lamptey gets there. Winning headers is a concern against a big centre-half, but Thompson clears it. Only as far as Ruben Diaz again, and Gomez. What a display it's been. Since the half an hour mark, we've just run the show. As Vandenberg nicks it high again, turns back to Bavati, over the top towards Thompson, loses the header, and Gomez will go back to his keeper, Keita. His clearance is poor though. Gaia intercepts for Thompson. Vandenberg's in. Could have been a massive moment for the young lad, but he puts it straight into the arms of Keita. With 10 to go, we're going to see this out comfortably. As Pavati throws into Boya, still 4 to go. Inside to Asher Gumby and Amponza. Boya. Zolis. Agumbi in support. Over to Russell Thompson. What a technique on the volley. How on earth is he not in the Scotland squad? How has he never been capped? Phenomenal finish. 5-0 is the scoreline. And 2 of the subs combine for a quite spectacular goal. It's a corner kick on the right with Zolis. It could get even better. It does. Inacio heads down from a free kick. It wasn't going in. It must have taken a deflection. Because it then rifles into the roof of the net. 6-0 with a minute to go. And City have absolutely collapsed in this game. And it shows why I've got such a frustration. Because the Premier League is still the easiest to win. Let's go and have a look at the schedule for when we're next going to be back. Because we've only got 2 competitions that we can win this year. Well, as the Premier League is done, 14 clear with 21 to play for, I think we're going to come back for the double header against Arsenal. We'll show the Champions League quarter-final, we'll play the Brentford game off camera in between, and we'll just focus on the big one, because that's the thing that ends the head coach if we can win the Champions League. I don't know that it's going to happen this year, but Arsenal gives us a chance to get into the semi-finals, something we've never done at Manchester United. So if you did enjoy this episode, thumping victories against Porto and City, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments what you think of this, because look, the scorelines are crazy, and I don't know why the Premier League is so much easier to win than the other competitions. It just seems wrong. And even with Palace, we found it easier to get to 4th in the Premier League than we did to try and compete for an FA Cup, for example. So it really doesn't make sense to me. But if you want to stay up to date and see if we can win the big one this year, please do subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. Daily FM22 content from 2 long-term stories. Links in the eye above to the Hemel Save, which will be back tomorrow, the Twitch channel and the football podcast too. And you can also find a new merchandise store up there as well. Remember to use the code LOADFM5 at checkout for 5% off all products. But thank you very much for watching, your support as always. Yesterday's Hemel Save will be above my head now. And I'll see you in a couple of days' time for the Champions League quarter-final.